ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम्। We'll just chant mantra number 3. असूर्यानामते लोकाः असूर्यानामते लोकाः अन्धेन तमसावृताः अन्धेन तमसावृताः तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये केचात्महनो जनाः ये केचात्महनो जनाः। Last time we discussed this mantra in detail and some part was yet to be discussed. Shruti says, those atmahano janaha, those who kill the self, those who kill themselves, those atmahano janaha asurya namate lokaha andhena tamasavrataha. Those worlds of asuras which are covered by blinding darkness, they go after death. Who are the one who kill themselves? This statement, who kill themselves, is self-contradictory. I cannot be the subject and at the same time I cannot be the object. You may say, no, Swamiji, some people kill themselves. They commit suicide. But committing suicide is killing the body, not the self. Anyway, so, okay. Now the question comes, what do you mean by killing the self? Committing suicide? No, that's not a meaning. While being alive, they kill themselves. How is it possible? You are alive and you still kill yourself? Yes, that is possible because you disrespect, disregard, or disown the self. This is your real nature, which is you. Forget about real nature, which is you. As of now, the I is a small fellow. Though fellow may be in American size XXX, but still physically triple X, but I sense is being small. Which way I am limited, I am unhappy, I am dissatisfied with myself, etc. That sense of being limited, the sense of being insufficient, sense of being insignificant, that is my self identity. Or you can say, as of now, that is my self estimation, how I look at myself. Physically, certainly limited. In terms of senses, limited. Certain things I just want to eat, or someone may say, I want to drink, but you cannot eat that. You cannot drink that. Your body doesn't support you. Mentally, always limited. I have not been rewarded in proportion to my emotions. The emotional investment that I have made in the people and the society, I have not been rewarded properly. Cognitively insufficient, dissatisfied. I am very expert in my field. I deserve this position, or I deserve this much of recognition. I deserve this much of reward, remuneration, contracts, but I don't get it. That is a self-estimation. In that is ahankara. The ahankara means not I do arrogance. The little fellow is ahankara. The I sense, which is limited. And in Shastric jargon definition, you can say ahankara is nothing but sense of doership, kartrutvam, sense of enjoyership, bhoktrutvam. I have to enjoy this. I have to do this. That is ahankara. Now, that ahankara, who is more often than not dukhi, and some, they think I am param dukhi. That param dukhi ahankara, that individual who is very unhappy with himself, finds himself to be unhappy, he is or she is ananda. The self is satyam, gnanam, anantam, brahma, limitless. To disown is all amounts to killing. Killing is in the secondary sense. You have not to take a grammatical meaning, to disregard, to disrespect, to disown the self, which is 24/7 available to me. It is myself, and still I don't own it up. That is called Atmahana. The person who has sense of doership, enjoyership. That person, after death, they will go to the lokas of asuras. Asurya namate lokaha andhena tamasavruta. Look here. Previous verse, last time I had mentioned. The previous verse and this verse. Both are atmahanaha. No. Kurvanneveha karmani jijivishet shatagum samaha, etc. That is also Atma. That fellow also doesn't know who am I. And doesn't, still he or she also has a sense of being limited or dukhi or dissatisfied, or in one word you can say sense of not at home with myself. The reasons may vary. A lady may say, I am not at home with myself because my husband is like that. Husband may have the same problem, that's okay. A teenager may say, I am not at home with myself because I don't have so many dresses and few cosmetics and things, etc. Or a middle-aged woman may say, I am not at home with myself because my son is not married or daughter is not married. And though she is 24 and she doesn't agree to get married, typical Indian mother, you know. All kind reasons may be different. But fact is same. Both are same. But the difference is the fellow is a viveki, a discriminative person in the previous month. What is discrimination? In fact, we survive in discrimination. You have to always discriminate. You have to always decide right from morning when you wake up. Then you have to discriminate. Should I get up or continue here in the bed? That's you have to discriminate. Do this or do that. From there onwards, throughout the day, you use your discrimination. Should I drive this way or that way? Wear this or that? Talk to this person or that person? Do this work or not? Do, if at all I do, how do I do this way or that way? When in Shastra, we are not talking of that discrimination. Discrimination is that human beings' first step of discrimination is you commit to life of dharma. You commit to life of duty, kartavya karma, and perform with certain attitude. Means living a life of a karma yogi only makes you a human being. And lots of confusions are there across the world about who is a karma yogi or what's karma yoga. Keep working, that is karma yogi. Keep working selflessly. You may find such guys in India, they are committed to some social cause. Varieties of causes people pick up. Some may have animal helpline and some may keep feeding the people and some may do hospital, etc., etc. They are all karma yogis. They are referred as karma yogis. In a standard definition, he act without expecting result. That is a karma. All useless definition. Karma yoga means I look upon, first of all, I commit to duty. I commit to my kartavya. And we have seen in detail Samanya Dharma and Vishesha Dharma, that the duty itself is called Dharma. What is common, universal, and what is special as per the position in the society, country, etc. First step of becoming Karma Yogi is that I am committed to what is to be done. And then if I have time and resources, then I may do something else, social cause or anything. But I don't do that at the cost of my duty. And the second aspect of Karma Yoga is whatever is expected out of me in a given situation, whatever that I ought to do, it behooves of me to do that. I look upon that situation as a mandate of Ishvara. Situation warrants me to do, that means that has been created by Karma Daksha Ishvara, and I look upon that as a mandate of Ishvara or a wish of Ishvara and perform as an offering to Ishvara, like a servant. Bhrutyavat karomi, like a servant I do that. Whatever is to be done, that is Karma Yoga. And that person is a Viveki in real sense. Those who have made money are also discriminative. And thugs are also discriminative. Cheaters are also discriminative. They know how to cheat. And they use their discrimination in cheating also. But that's not what we are talking about. When we say discriminative means primarily commitment to life of dharma and backed by this attitude of Ishvara Arpan. I am offering these karmas. I am performing my duty as a seva to Ishvara. That is a vivek. That was talked about, that person was referred in the previous mantra. In this mantra, Shruti is talking about a person who is aviveki, not so much committed to duty and least awareness of Ishvara. Please understand, bhakti is awareness of Ishvara. You have to live in the awareness of Ishvara. You have to look upon the situation as a mandate of Ishvara. Your own children, your spouse, your family, etc. This is all given by Ishvara. And I do whatever is to be done, whatever I have to do towards them, I do it. That awareness is bhakti. And this person has a least awareness. That means what? no commitment to life of dharma. I have told again and again, dharma doesn't mean just a belief. This doesn't mean to follow some scripture or some forms and some Bhagavan. No, dharma is duty. What is to be done, that is your first dharma. So person who is adharmika, okay, that person, asurya namate lokaha andhena tamasavataha tamste pretyabhigachanti eke chatma. That person goes to these lokas. Means when there is no commitment to dharma, there will be commitment to artha and kama. Only life committed to gaining security, gaining some wealth, and enjoying the pleasures of sensual pleasure. That is his or her lifestyle. Now, two things. To pursue to pursue artha kama as a goal, you don't need any education, much less you need a human body. Animals also pursue artha kama. Their whole life is only for that. Once they wake up and they run around and they look for the food, they are pursuing kama. Whatever they have, predominant kama is the food. That's all kama they have. So they are after it. A little bit biological urges, they fulfill it. And they live life. You don't need to teach. Even a toddler also is pursuing artha kama. The baby seeks mother or grandmother, whatever baby is more in acquaintance with it. She seeks granny because why? Security. And then baby seeks toys. Why? For kama. That's what the kama baby knows. So you don't need to grow up. You don't need to be human being. You don't need to be educated. One will pursue artha kama. What makes a human being is that he or she commits to life of dharma and ultimately discovers the moksha as a goal, as the goal of the life. That discovery should take place, at least. Even if one cannot make to moksha, one cannot gain moksha, but then at least that clarity about the end and the focus lifestyle, commitment lifestyle pursued, it should be clear. That clarity, if not gained, though the person is in a human form, he or she is equated to asuras, and he or she is considered to be the one who has killed himself. Last time I had quoted you few verses from Vivek Chudamani, from Sanat Sujatiyam, etc., etc. Even Brahadaranyaka Upanishad I mentioned, Yajnavalkya Rishi calls that person as a miser because the wealth of buddhi is given and is not used properly. So, this person is like an animal. No, I would say it is worse than animal. Why? I'll tell you. See, other than human beings, listen this carefully. All other species, khagaha, bhucharaha, whatever, whether they swim, they live and survive in water, or they fly, or they move on the earth. All kinds of creatures. In their pursuit of artha and kama, two things are there. Their pursuit are definite, that they will pursue only these and no more. And there is a limit to their pursuit. Bhagavan has put it. Like even a cow. However, it may be a Jersey original brought from Europe or America. that jersey, and now in India we have McDonald's and all kinds of things, KFC and etc. Even if a street cow jersey grazing, moving around the street and comes near McDonald and somebody has thrown some food leftover, meat and bread, she will eat only bread and leave the meat. She will not touch it. So that definite. Their pursuits for Arthakama are pre-decided and with limitations. In case of human being, our pursuit of Arthakama are based on ever-changing our subjective values. You think this is good and you pursue that. Other person think that is not good and therefore don't pursue it. This applies to any food item onwards, clothing onwards, anything. Human pursuits are subjective. They are predetermined, subjective, all right, but predetermined by his or her values, his or her likes and dislikes, which are constantly in a state of flux. They keep changing all the time. Your values change, your attitude change, your notions change, your cognition change, and then likes and dislikes change. So it is varied based on the fancies, and the pursuit is limitless. In both the pursuit of artha and kama, means security and pleasure, more one has, more one wants. That is how it is. Even in a pursuit of artha, security, the person gained supposedly some level of security in terms of money and housing and family and connections and contacts, everything. The fellow will be insecure. Swamiji, Corona. Nowadays you don't get a bed in the hospital. I don't know. Though I have developed contacts with few doctors, but I wish I may not get it. Insecure. No in limited thing can provide you limitless secure. Anyway, I'll not get into that. The point is, the person, more he or she has, more he or she becomes insecure. That mantra of Kathopanishad I had quoted earlier in Upadesaram as well as Tattvabodha. Na vittena tarpaniyo manusya. Vittalabha kadatijapi nityatruptikaraha na drashta. Any amount of acquisition of wealth, any amount of wealth one has, there cannot be sense of satisfaction permanent. More you have, more you want. And that yayati statement, na jatu kama kama nam upabhoge na samyati. So in human being, that being a case, person who is pursuing artha and kama only may tend to cross the boundaries of propriety, boundaries of dharma, boundaries of law. And anyone doing papam, he or she more often than not knows this is papam. I shouldn't be doing this. But the pressure of artha kama is so much that he or she cannot refrain, cannot hold himself or herself from the pursuit of artha. I have come across so many cases. The prisoners in the jail having committed a crime, they keep repenting. I knew I shouldn't do, but I couldn't control myself. Pressure. Person taking bribe also has a pressure. More you have, you cross dharma boundaries. That means animals will never cross the boundaries. Human being is worse than animal if he or she is pursuing only artha kama, because adharma will be prevalent in that society and human being will tend to or succumb to adharma. That's what today modern problem is. And unfortunately, in the modern society, with the influence through social media, electronic media, etc., the impact of the values, life values, is so much. And all across the world, the pursuit is become artha and kama. That's all the pursuit of life. That's all the goal of life. In that third chapter verse, some of you know, Arjuna asked him, Krishna, Bhagavan, what is the, why does a person commit papa? Kena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha. Bhagavan says, kama eshaha krodha esha. When the society as a whole, goal or value, collective value is artha kama, that society would tend to be adharmic society. You'll find people very easily compromising the values, very easily compromising the laws of the land, very comfortable, without a wink or without a sense of guilt, even slightest, no way, just do it. And they take it to be the most common and the practical approach of the life. Swamiji, we have to be practical. They tell me. We have to bribe people. And we have to take bribe because it have to be practical. We have to do this wrong because we have to be practical. They are so blunt. They become so insensitive to their conscience. Slowly and slowly. Anyway, coming back to this. Modern problem, you find this. People compromising dharma because the goal is reduced to arthakama. Anyway, that this person who will be compromising like this, they will go to asurya namate lokaha andhena tamasa vrataha tamste pretya vigachanti yeke chatma hanojana. They are the one who have killed themselves. The self that is Satchidananda is disrespected, disregarded, and even the Vyavaharik self, the human self which is gifted with buddhi, that also they disregard. They in fact misuse the buddhi only for artha and kama, only to cheat and manipulate and do something wrong, and so comfortably, swiftly they do wrong things. They are being taught, and they will go to Asurya Namate Loka. They will go to Asurya Loka. Now, Asura has two meanings. One conventional, one meaning which we know. And second meaning is you have to take etymological meaning. When the word Asura is used in Sanskrit, this is a problem with English. They don't have a concept of Asura. And they don't know what is Asura. So they translate it as a devil. They go to lokas of the devils. And then they get more confused. Because in that theology, there is only one devil. And we have lokas and of devils. So how many devils are there? Even they can't handle one devil who is always troubling the God himself sometimes. And this fellow. And now we have the devil's lokas. And that's not a translation. Asusu praneshu indriyeshu ramante iti asura. Though there is a yoni, which we imagine that with two horns and looking very frightening look they have, and very brute looking guys are asuras and things like that. That's okay. But asura means who revel, ramante, kutra indriyartheshu. They revel in sensual pleasures, always thinking of enjoyments, pleasures. One I have, another I am planning, another is in the pipeline, short-term goal, long-term goal. This car I have, after 2 years, I will have that car, I will have go to this vacation, that vacation, like that. Always investing themselves in pleasures available now and pleasures they aspire in future. That is their life investment. They are called asura. And they will go to those lokas. Asura loka means go to the lokas of sensual pleasures. From this standpoint of view, devatas are also asuras. Though we say devatas and asuras are always fighting, but then if you look at this, both of them are fighting for only one goal. Both of them want heaven. and they want heavenly pleasure, that's all. But then there is a basic difference. Asuras are vivekinaha, and devataha are vivekina. Why? Because they want pleasures and they acquired pleasure through dharma, through what is proper, through what is right. And asuras are the one who want heaven through adharma. Okay? They don't want artha and kama on the basis or on the foundation of dharma. They want artha kama without any foundation, whether dharma or adharma, whether I get it through dharmic ways or adharmic ways, doing proper and improper, both is okay. I want the end. Means, look at this. These are the people, devatas and asura, are in a way asura because they want to revel in sensual pleasure. But the difference is, for asuras, means doesn't matter. And justifies the means. Whereas in devaha, means matters more than the end. They may be pursuing a legitimate end, but they don't want it through improper means. I want a legitimate end through legitimate means. The asuras are one whose end justifies the means, whereas here the means justifies that. If it is proper, if the means are legitimate, then only I go for it. Otherwise, give up. Anyway, so that is why Bhagavan always sides Deva. We keep hearing kathas. All the time Bhagavan is helping Devatas. And then they say, everybody is Bhagavan's child. Bhagavan sabka pitaji hai. Hum sab Bhagavan ke bete hai. As a child, I had a question. If each one of us is Bhagavan ka beta beti, so Bhagavan, or hamare in Gujarati they say, all the 5 fingers are same. In a sense, you don't like to sacrifice any one of them. Equally respect and need all the 5. So all the children are same, they should be. Why Devas are always siding Asuras and not Devatas? This is the reason. Devatas want the thing through the means of dharma. Dharma samsthapanam is Bhagavad Karyam. When dharma is prevalent, then the society will survive. When adharma grows, there will be destruction in the society. The whole universe will ultimately can get destroyed. So, sthiti karta, Bhagavan's job is to sustain this. In human, the plant kingdom, animal kingdom, all that can be sustained by Lord Himself. But when it comes to human society, it will sustain only through dharma. Human society alone becomes responsible for destruction of other society. plant kingdom, animal kingdom. And he or she, human society, can become instrumental for their growth also, being conscious about ecology and living a life of dharma. So, the human being, that freedom being there, if abused, the society, the sthiti comes to danger. Therefore, Bhagavan cites Devta, not Asura. Coming back to this, after that, they will go to those lokas where they will get sense pleasure. Yes, that you may find the translation that the lokas of the devils. And when you say devil, it means only Narakaloka, not necessary. So they will go to lokas of sense pleasure, but what kind of it? There is an adjective. Andhena tamasa vrutaha. Asurya namate lokaha. Andhena tamasa vrutaha. Covered by blinding darkness. Blinding darkness means what? They may get those yonis where there is no possibility of viveka, sthavara yonaya. They may become some tree and plant or centipede, can't move much, etc. So that mati, that yoni will be like that. The reason is here. I just would like to add one more point since we have not studied Gita. We have not got into this, especially the 8th chapter of Gita. The journey of a jiva from one birth to another birth is equated to, there is an example in Upanishad, is like mountaineering. In a mountaineering, if someone is climbing, he or she will fix up the foot first and make little pressure, give little pressure, and make sure that it can take my weight. And then only that person will lift the second leg from left and will be on one leg for some time. Then another leg will make sure it is there, and then only this goes. So before we depart, Jiva departs from this body, the destination, next Janma is decided. And not only Janma, but how this fellow from here to will reach there, the Jivatma. There is a cycle given in Shastra through rains and water and then trees and the fruits, and then that fruit will be eaten by only of that yoni male, and then that male will give to female and the birth, etc. Whole cycle is told in Shastra. That means a modern example is still better. You fix up GPS. You're in a car. And sometimes this car has an older one GPS. By the time you type something, it doesn't take that. It is too smart to take it. So you get ready and sit in America. I find this. You get ready and be seated, and then that person who drives will feed in the GPS. And then it starts. The GPS is decided. Then Jiva goes. Now again the question comes, I appreciate Swamiji, according to GPS I go. I go to particular yoni and this route. But why this particular yoni and not other? There are mantras in Upanishad and Vakyas in Gita. Yoni manne prapadyante sharirattvaya dehinaha Sanumannenu sanyanti yatha karma yatha shrutam. Yamraja talks while teaching to Nachiketa says this. And in the Gita ji also there is a verse, Yam yam bhapi swaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tame vaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavi. Whatever is last bhava, the demand, the urge, last wish. That, according to that, and karma, both should unite in the match, in the fellow goes. Oh, that's good, Swamiji. Now let me make merry now. When my end comes, I will have a wish to go to Vaikuntha Loka. I will desire to go to Kailas Loka. You know, so last thing we'll see at the last. Why bother now? It also Shastra says the last demand, last wish is sum total of all the demands throughout the life. That bhava, not a wish is not important, that bhava. It is exactly like the balance sheet of the company, profit and loss account. On the 1st of April, book shows some profit or loss. It is sum total of each and every transactions. Maybe 1,000 per day transaction performed from last 1st April. That is what the profit or loss is. Similarly, right from birth onwards, all kinds of bhavas we entertain, the summary of it will come last and that will take to new birth. Now this fellow, since all the time thinking of Arthakama, will also think of Arthakama at the end. Nothing else he or she can think, even if he or she wants to think. And therefore, they will go to such lokas. Which loka? Andhena tamasa vrta. Blinding darkness. So blinding darkness here means lokas, a lot of delusion, lot of ignorance, that they are thinking of inert objects, pleasures. They are all most of the time inert. So they go to those lokas where they have to experience or enjoy those inert things. That is, this, we say, they have a rati in jada. Jada mein rati. So gati bhi jada mein. They have attachment, or their mind is brooding over such objects and pleasures. So they will have such birth where they can have that only. Okay. So these people after death will end up to such lokas because they are thinking of that. So in a way, the death is not moving from this body to that body, from this place to that place, from this time frame to another time frame. It is true, but it is basically bhavantar prapti, whatever is your bhava. According to bhava, yam yam bhavam smaran tyajatyante kalevaram. Whatever bhava they have in the mind and they leave body, that bhava accordingly they will get birth. So it is dehantara prapti. Actually, it is a bhavantara prapti. Primarily, you get that bhava. In another words, we can explain this bhava. Some children are born with certain tendencies. They like certain things. They're very foodie children, etc. These tendencies are there because of that bhava of Purvajan. Once they grow up and they pick up new likes and dislikes, and they may change their likes and dislikes, that is a separate thing. But then they come with those bhavas. So it is bhavat bhavantara prapti. From one bhava to another bhava, people go. And because of Asurya namate loka, they are in the lokas of Asuras. Coming back to this mantra, having said this, Shruti now is describing the nature nature of the self. That is the main tattva. All this description, all these discussions are done to emphasize that one should know oneself. And what is the self that we saw in the first mantra itself? That the self is non-separate from Ishvara. That is what the meaning was. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarva. Everything is pervaded by Ishvara. That means nothing is away from Ishvara. And that is you. That Ishvara is your nature, that is Swarupa. And nothing is away from it. And that one has to own up. But it needs it is further explained what is that self. And you may find it a lot of paradoxes in some words, but I'll explain why it is so. Look at the mantra number 3, third mantra. Sorry, fourth one. Anejadekam manaso javiyah. Anejadekam manaso javiyah. Nainad deva apnuvat purvamarshat. Nainad deva apnuvat purvamarshat. Tadhavatonyaan atteti tishtat. Tadhavatonyaan atteti tishtat. Tasmin napomatarishva dadhati. Tasmin napomatarishva dadhati. Just one more time. I'll just chant it again, and you may look into the mantra that you have in the book and try to chant. Anejadekam manaso javiyah. Anejadekam manaso javiyah. Nainad deva praapnuvan purvamarshат. Nainad deva apnuvat purvamarshат. Tadhavatonyaan atteti tishtat. Tadhavatonyaan atteti tishtat. Tasmin napomatarishva dadhati. Tasmin napomatarishva dadhati. Anejadekam. Anejat, so I'm breaking the word. Anejadekam, there are two words, sandhi is there. Anejat and ekam. It is one, ekam. Not simply one, but non-dual one. Anejat. Eja means company. Ejata means one which moves, which travels, one which changes. Anejat, that which doesn't move, non-moving, or you can say immovable. The self is immovable and ekam, non-dual. Manaso javiyah, manasaha. Javiyah means faster than. It moves faster than the mind. It moves faster than the mind, or you can say swifter than the mind. It moves so swiftly, much more than the mind. Anejadekam manaso javiyah. Acha. Nainad deva apnuvat. Devas cannot apnuvat. Gods cannot reach it. God, Deva na enat apnuvat. The gods or devas cannot or reach not this. Why? Purva marshat. It reaches earlier than devas. It moves faster than the devas. It is always moving in the front, ahead, etc. And then he says, Taddhavato anyan atyeti tishthat. Tishthat. Remaining stationary, being non-moving, it anyan dhavato atyeti. It outruns all other runners. Those who are running, dhav anyan, the anyan atyeti. Anyan means those others who are running. Tad dhavata. It outruns all other runners. And it remains stationary also. Atyeti tishthat. Tishthat, remaining stationary, remaining steady at one place. It outruns all those who run. Tasmin napo matarishva dadati. It being there, tasmin sati, it being there, matarishva. Matarishva means Hiranyagarbha. I'll explain this word. Apah dadhati, karma phalani dadhati. It gives karma phalas. Hiranyagarbha gives karma phalas because that self being there. Means without the self, even Hiranyagarbha cannot give the karma phalas. Okay? Now, why this contradiction? It is all full of contradiction. Aneja dekam, it is stationary, non-moving, but moves swifter than the mind. Then he says, Devas cannot reach it because the reach is earlier than them. Tishthat, it is stationary, remaining stationary. He says, Anyan atyeti. It outruns all those fellows who are running, all those who are moving, and Matasmin, it being there, Matarishva, Hiranyagarbha gives karma. Why this contradiction? Please understand. The vastu that is to be revealed by words is beyond words. Please understand the word beyond. They don't understand, even that also is beyond. the word, the statement beyond words is something beyond you have to understand. These are problem because they don't study Shastra from a competent teacher. Quite a few are Swayam Guru, like Shivji Swayam Bhu, they are Swayam Guru. Most of the yoga teachers are Swayam Gurus, self-Gurus. Anyway, coming back to this, it is not the direct meaning of a given word. Simple. When I say beyond word means, it is not the direct meaning of any word. Why? Because see, our Shastras, our Rishis has done so much of analysis. What all the words can communicate, that also they have said. Jati, Guna, Kriya, Sambandh. That's all. Only 4 things are communicated by words. When you understand the word, you understand in a 4-fold way. Out of 4, maybe 1 applicable, or maybe 2, or maybe 3, or all the 4. But only 4-fold things are understood by the words. Words can communicate either the species, jati. Immediately, if someone says in India, Tommy, then we know it must be dog. You don't find Tommy a name of a gentleman in India, at least. Person being called Tommy. Indian knows dog only. Then And the irony is, even the Indians, when they have a dog as a pet, they always give them English name. You will never find a dog whose name is Ramlo, Ramesh, whose dog's name is Krishnamurti, whose dog name is Bhajan Singh, Harbhajan Singh. Sorry, I should not say, you may misunderstand. But anyway, this name, Punjabi name came to me anyway. I don't mean him, but a Punjabi name. No, they will always have English name for the dogs. So you know the species. What are we talking about? Or you talk of some quality, red or black or short or white or tall, etc. Qualities. Even the breed, Labrador, Alsatian, German Shepherd is a jati, guna. What does it do? Kriya. Like a driver. When you say driver, that means this fellow drives. Car or whatever he is driving. Or managing director. That either the kriya is revealed by that. And or you can say sambandha, relationship. My uncle and cousin and etc. etc. Nothing more than that. On the self, when I say beyond words, I mean it is not a jati, no guna, no qualities, no kriya, and no sambandha. Then how to describe? It may appear contradiction, but that is the only way to describe. Like, just imagine, this is my example, okay? Imagine an aborigine from African jungles, from Brazilian deep jungles. That person is suddenly brought into modern metro, New York or Tokyo or someplace. And he comes to your house, brought here, and he sees refrigerator. First time in his life. Things are cold. There is ice cube. The fellow living in the jungles had never seen ice. He was so happy. I want this cupboard. Okay, we'll get you. And then you have an oven also. You put a cup of tea and heat it up, and vegetable, heat it up and give chapati also, though maybe 1 week old, but it is hot chapati. In America, you can get. In India, when you say hot chapati means made right now. But in America, hot chapati means maybe made 15 days ago, and you still can get hot now. Anyway, that fellow is so happy that I want to take this box also. Then in the evening, he sees all lights. Then he says, I want this tube light, this bulb. We don't have light at night, so I want to take this also. He said, okay. But then you explain him. This refrigeration is possible because there is a power, electricity. And the heating is possible because of electricity. So you can say that which is colder than the fridge and hotter than the oven is electricity. 100. That person, I deliberately gave you example of an African aborigine. Then you say electricity, he may ask, what is electricity? Can you explain? Electricity has no gunas, black or white, or no, you can't see it through sense organs. How can you explain? You may say that which cools up here is electricity. Or that which heats up here also is electricity. So how can it be both cooling and heating? Because it is none of that. Understand? Electricity is neither hot nor cold. Since it is none of that, none of them, neither of them, it is a cause of both of them. And then still if that fellow says, I want to understand electricity, I want to know it, and if had done some modern, had gone to modern gurus, he would say, I want to experience electricity. Experience. Want to experience. That also is possible. You can give him a divine experience. Keep two live wires and ask him to touch. The fellow will have a vibration from Kundalini. Will get vibration right up to Kundalini. Divine vibrations. You can feel that electricity, but Atma you can feel that way. Since it is, it's like electricity, which is both of them, cause of both of them, at the same time, neither of them. It causes both the things, heating the things and cooling. It is used for air conditioner and heater also. That shows it is neither of them. Electricity is neither cold nor hot because it is none of them, but at the same time, both are possible only because of electricity. This is a peculiar case. So also true for the self, and therefore contradiction is used. It is apparent, there is no contradiction. When you say that aborigine, African aborigine, that which this electricity is cooling, refrigerating the things, and same electricity is heating oven, that fellow may say you are contradicting. How can one thing be cooling and heating? You are not contradicting. Contradiction is apparent, it has to be resolved. And what is the resolution of contradiction? Contradiction is because of the medium of manifestation. Electricity, when manifests through refrigerator, it does the job of refrigeration. And when it manifests through oven, it does the job of heating the things. Understand? So, there is no other way but to explain this, that it is all of them, but at the same time, neither of them. With this background, we will conclude today's class, and tomorrow we'll continue and I'll explain it further and we'll study the mantra. We'll look into the mantra tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.